You know, I thought that it would be funny to use this green screen. I bought it like 4 years ago. I've used it maybe once. And so I was like, okay, this will be a fun little thing. You know, I've uploaded, twice this year? This will be fun. We can set it up. That's my bed it's on. Today we're doing something that I have genuinely wanted to do for 1 year, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and some number of hours. And what better way to spend my whole summer break than ranking
544
videos in one condensed video. Not videos, songs. This is hours of my life that I will never get back just because I wanted to re-rank these songs. I just want to quickly apologize for the fact that there's construction happening across the street. My dad's watching football and there are dogs barking in like every single backyard in my neighborhood. And by the way, every single piece of music that I will be talking about here, ranking I'll explain this in a minute. Every single song I'm ranking is in the description in this full playlist. Check it out. You'll definitely find at least one new song that you'll fall in love with. Now, before we start, we have to be honest with ourselves. 70% of you are here for my Skylanders ranking, and I know it. Hell, half of you probably aren't even hearing me complain about you because you already skipped to the Skylanders section. I just wanted to say, one, f*** you. Two, though, that you should honestly stick around because this video is way more condensed than any of my other rankings, and it honestly weirdly made it easier to follow. I don't know, it's more fun this way, and I think you will actually enjoy it as opposed to that Subnautica one that I still hate. I'm even updating every track with stuff that I missed or stuff that's come out since. The Inside Outtakes, the Minecraft Wild update, and every single song that you little shits told me that I forgot in my original Skylanders soundtrack ranking, even though I specifically said that I was only going off of Lorne Balf's official soundtrack, proving that even he did not care about these. Is there really a god? Should I say that? Oh, and for the purposes of how incredibly long this video ended up being, I've completely removed that point system that used to be in all these ranking videos just for the sake of my sanity and your time. If it was in my original ranking, I actually put its original number on the right of its name just so you could like compare and see what's changed. And then once I'm done with each segment, I'll be going through listing like highlights of the soundtrack while they scroll on this giant thing. Every single song and what it says will scroll so that I don't have to talk about all of them. I'll just talk about the highlights while you can pause and read about whatever you want. I figured it looks stupid, let's be honest, but it's practical, it works, okay? So now we've got a pretty simple job ahead of us. Just listen through a bunch of songs, rank them, relax, listen to the next soundtrack, relax. And overall, I don't think it's gonna be too complicated of a I am a changed man. I am not kidding when I say this is supposed to be filler content for my actual stuff coming up. This is the reason I've only posted like 3 things this year. And yes, you did catch me, this 3 months gag is actually complete bullcrap, but it has been like a week or 2. I just thought of the joke and then I was like, oh, why don't I record that? Plus, when I recorded that last bit, I hadn't gone over the Skylanders soundtrack. 139 songs. 100. I clearly need a minute to calm down and relax. So how do I normally do that? You know, what gets me relaxed? The Minecraft soundtrack does. Alright, we're starting strong with the craft. Tell me, viewer, what do you think when you hear the words Minecraft and music? Calming, angelic, simple, elegant, droopy? Minecraft has gone through multiple albums, multiple composers, and multiple years trying to perfect this style C418 gracefully vomited onto the scene. Their music is so out there and so unique and wildly itself that every once in a while, in the mountain of amazing classic pieces, you get something that is complete garbage. So the way we're gonna do this, I think, is we're gonna start with like the bottom 5 or 6, talk about the new songs and where they lie, then cover the top 10, and then let the whole thing scroll by as I list the highlights. I I feel like that's pretty fair. So starting us off at number 74, the first worst song of this entire video is Boss by C418. Half of you have no idea what that is and are completely chill, and the other half is already looking up my address. But this is a very interesting scenario because this song is like the perfect possible way it could be for Minecraft. This is the theme for the end. This is the theme for the Ender Dragon. If they made it some huge, like, action-packed, like, trumpets, percussion, it would have sucked. It would have made no sense in Minecraft. This works. I just never want to listen to it, and all of these are being ranked outside of the context of the game. Number 73, however, is something that I do consider a song and still hate nonetheless. Droopy Likes Your Face. Please don't hurt me. I genuinely don't understand why so many people love this one. It's wacky and unique, but it's also horrible because of both of those. I think it flows horribly, I think its instruments don't work well together, but most of all, I think that robot voice that plays throughout the entire thing is horrendous and nightmare-inducing. Ancestry is number 72. It used to be number 71, but that used to be last, so it technically went up 2 spaces. Either way, it's bad. It's unique, I'll give it that. Hell, I can really skip over a bunch of these. Like, a lot of these were pretty consistent with my original ranking. You have Oxygen at number 71, next was 13, Floating Dreams, and at number 68 was Excuse. I singled that one out specifically because on my original ranking, I got a comment that said, you clearly didn't listen to the entirety of Excuse because it's beautiful, or something along those lines. And I thought, you know what, typically to speed things along, if it's a very repetitive song, I might skip like 20 seconds ahead just to see where it goes. I did do that a lot in my original rankings. Maybe they have a point, and I listened to it again, full thing, a couple of times, and it's lower on the list now. So why don't we listen to the 4 new additions to the soundtrack? But what I'm talking about is the Wild update, specifically 5, Airy, Labyrinthine, and Firebugs. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm talking about 5 here, but it's not actually in the ranking. I just wanted to say that it's actually my favorite of the creepy trio. You got 13, 11, and 5. It's the best. It has a little bit of music, but overall it's just got some actually horrifying stuff. So the worst of the new songs is actually Airy, but that's not saying much because it's actually number 22. If there's one way I could describe it, it's that it genuinely feels like a combination of every single song C418 has ever worked on. With that comes some bad moments, but also with that it feels like this whole story comes with it, and it's really cool. Labyrinthine is up next at number 20, just above Land of Rain's Stand Tall. And this song is just like beautiful. Its main chorus, beat, motif, whatever, is awesome, but the thing is just so horrendously repetitive. If it fixed that, good God, a top 10 song for sure. But of course, I can't talk about the Wild update without covering Firebugs. It is everyone's favorite from the soundtrack. It's the only one anyone talked about, because it's good. It's just good. It's at number 18, if you were curious. But of course, none of those songs hit the number 10, unlike the song Blind Spots, which I don't think I need to explain. It was at number 9 in my original ranking. But what's prettier than Blind Spots? Well, how about the other Minecraft song that everyone geeks out about, which is Alpha, sitting at number 9, which is strange, because it was 25 in my original ranking. I don't know what was going on. But weirdly enough, just above that, at number 8 is Ballad of the Cats. I literally don't know why. Both times I've ranked the Minecraft soundtrack, this one just came out of nowhere, and I ended up loving it. But next up, number 7 and 6 are 2 songs that weren't even in the top 10 before. You've got Intro at number 7 and Moog City at number 6. These are pretty similar songs, and honestly I could see them changing and not really being surprised at any point in time. They both have one like really angelic part. They both have a really creative beginning and end. They flow very similarly. They're just good songs. Number 5 is Flake, because it's Flake. Number 4 is Left to Bloom, which is surprising even though it was in the top 10 last time. I originally said that its last third was awesome while the rest was pretty garbage, but this time I think its first third is very middle of the road. You know, it's a pretty acquired taste, while its final 2/3 are genuinely some of the best music in this game. And now we have a very weird turn of events. Number 3 is Hagstrom, which is actually where it was in my original ranking. But it's weird because for a few weeks, I had this at number 2 because it's that awesome. It's creative and fun and weird. But then it got co-throned by a song that I just so happened to shuffle into listening at a midnight car ride. And that song that just so happened to play at the right time for me to end up loving it is Drayton. You see, I've also got this problem with songs that like randomly switch the style and tone and even tempo, like just in the middle of the song or like in the random last third. But this song is one of the only ones I've ever listened to that just pulls it off. So what could possibly be number one? What could it be? What could gain the title of the best Minecraft song? It's Infinite Amethyst, just like last time. I don't care what you have to say. So, that's cool and all, Will. You're very handsome and sexy, but not actually, because you're underage. But you only ranked, like, maybe a third of the songs in the entire ranking. What's the point of re-ranking them all if you're only going to talk about that many? Well, my lamb, I speed ran ranking like 20 songs just so that we could get to this point. Now that I've talked about the big highlights, the top and bottom, and the new songs, I'm just gonna talk about more obscure highlights just that I noticed while the entire soundtrack flows by right here. So I'm gonna maybe stand right here. And I'm gonna do this every time, but I'm just gonna clarify the colors I talked about. If the song is highlighted green, it's C418. When the song is highlighted purple, it's actually Kumi Tanioka. And finally, if they are highlighted a pinkish red, because Google Docs hates red and black put over it for some reason and it looks garbage, so we're going with pink, it's Lena Rain. If you're colorblind, oh, and look, I didn't notice it already started because it's the ones we already talked about at the bottom. Why should I care? I don't need to talk about them. But I think a good place to start for this small range we've got going on as that flies by is the music discs. Last time around, Blocks was in dead last out of the music discs, but this time it's Cat and Ward basically tied for last. Weight is always getting thrown around, as is Strad and Pigstep. So other than the ones that I already know and have always thought are awesome, Far and Mall, it's just never fair because it's always based on what I'm feeling at that moment. If I'm feeling like I need just a fun beat, well, you know, Blocks, Pigstep, that's gonna go far. If I need something calming, Strad and Other Side. If I need a nostalgic piece to really bring back or something repetitive to just keep me going, Blocks and Weight will do good. And sure, I didn't mention all of them just now. Stall, Malohai, Ward, they're all fine. I want you to know they're all fine. Where I rank them doesn't mean I hate them, because if I ranked this in a month, they'd all be in a new spot. So speaking of people that definitely want me dead, last time around I didn't really give Haunt Muskie a good chance either. I got distracted while listening to it and even mentioned in the video that I didn't feel like re-listening to it to judge it more fairly. It was in the 60s last time, but re-listening to it, it got 54, which is better. Personally, if I'm jamming to creative mode music, I'm going with the Moog Duo all the way. So funnily enough, one of the songs that actually was pushed down a lot in this Minecraft ranking was the song Minecraft. It used to be number 2, but after re-listening to its horribly repetitive, dumbass sound, I decided that it's fine. It's at number 29 now. That song fell 28 placements. That is a lot, but what is the biggest change in this entire ranking? Well, there's this song One More Day that Lena Rain made. Basically what I said about it is that it's okay with some really awesome instrumentals, as if the instrumentals aren't the only part of an instrument exclusive song. And you see, because of that, I placed it at number 51. But after re-listening to it, I realized that it is easily one of the most unique and exceptional pieces in this entire game. And that is why it is at number 14 now. 37 entire placements up. That's interesting stuff, right? I don't know, I just find it fascinating how much this list has changed in just like a couple months. It's almost been a year. That was pretty cool. That's the entire Minecraft soundtrack re-ranked. This is official, everyone agrees with it, and if you don't, you are wrong. This was pretty fun, re-ranking stuff I haven't gone over in like a year. I mean, it'll be even crazier going over like Skylanders and Subnautica, but this was fun, this was cool. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to flawlessly transition into my Burnham ranking. Okay, I just want to get this out of the way to start this off. I know it's discography, okay? We've got a theme going on here. I'm not just gonna throw that away for grammatical correctness. If we were to pick a track that is definitely the most out of place and random in this entire video, it would probably be this one. In a video about Skylanders and Minecraft, well, Burnham don't fit very well. Comparing his work to Minecraft and Hamilton isn't really crazily far-fetched. But Skylanders? Like seriously, in 20 minutes I'm gonna be ranking Chef Pepperjack's boss fight music. And since my original ranking, Bo actually released the Insight Outtakes and 13 new songs. But even with 13 entirely new pieces added to the mix, last place managed to stay the same. Ranked at number 65 is Bo Burnham's F from What? F being the worst thing he's ever made really goes to show just how awesome his music is, to be honest. However, now that we're done with last place, we're already jumping into the first of the Inside outtakes, because at number 64, we've got Bezos 4. The Bezos joke was funny at first, and hell, Bezos 3 even made it pretty fun and spooky, but this is where the joke died for me. After Bezos 4, we've got the studio version of Words, 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 followed by Hey Bo, Guess What? And then our next Inside Outtakes song, Feel Good. I honestly enjoy the beat, and his lyrics are simple, but you get the point. I would never listen to it, I guess. I think it's just when your average song is incredibly smart and unique, something like this will be bad in comparison. Jumping up to numbers 58 and 57, we've got This Isn't a Joke and Spider. Spider gets old pretty quick, and This Isn't a Joke kind of just becomes not music after a bit. Biden is at number 52 because despite only having 2 lines repeated over and over, it is one of the most badass themes he's ever made. WTFIGO is just good credits music, but it would not have fit for Inside. I'm glad it was in the Inside outtakes. 5 Years and Microwave Popcorn reside in 45 and 43 respectively. 5 Years is really simple with some really clever lyrics, and Microwave Popcorn sacrificed music quality for being one of the funniest things in the Inside outtakes. Side note, I didn't have Any Day Now in my original ranking, but now I do, and it's at number 40. The All Eyes on Me reprise is really beautiful and makes for great storytelling, but its lyrics are not nearly as good, and it has a bunch of weird editing moments, but nonetheless, it gets a crisp 36. Bezos 3 is weirdly probably my favorite use of the Bezos theme in these songs, while not being the best of the songs. I just really like this post-apocalyptic feeling it gives, and for that, it gets placement number 32. The Chicken gets number 26 because it's pretty and oddly inspiring. Number 22 is where 1985 resides, which I did not realize is more popular than some of the songs in the original Inside. It's got Microwave Popcorn's awesome humor while maintaining musical quality. But the best new addition to Bo Burnham's discography is The Future. Its instrumentals are definitely a really good blend of Problematic and All Eyes on Me, but it's just really good thematically and musically, and it's got some fine humor in it. Number 19, I approve. Oh boy, that was a bunch. But if you think we're slowing down, then you clicked on the wrong fucking video, champ. Kill yourself. That's not a demand. That's the name of my 10th highest ranking song because of how hilarious, catchy, and just brilliant it is. Sound like a salesman pitching you suicide. Number 9 is my previous 3rd highest ranking song, We Think You Know We Know You. We Think We Know You. This has always been like that big emotional moment at the end of the show that has actually touched me. Of course, I still do have to acknowledge how corny and flamboyant it is for such an emotional ending. Look Who's Inside Again used to be number 28. Now it's 8 because I grew a brain. I literally praised it last time, but I thought that it was too short and needs to be extended, but like, just play the song again. It's good. Number 7 is Hell of a Ride. I don't know, man. Hell of a Ride is a studio song in the special What, in its official soundtrack, and it is meant to be the conclusion of What. It has a bunch of themes and bits and motifs, I guess, from songs before it. My 6th highest ranking song is what used to be the 2nd highest ranking song, and that's All Eyes on Me. I love the song. It's gut-wrenching, it's really creative, and it is moving, and it is deep and concerning and scary. The only thing holding it back is that it's so repetitive. Like, I get every lyric, but that's because there's about 10 of them. Number 5 is Problematic. It speaks for itself. It used to be, number 6. Up next is That Funny Feeling, which used to be number 11. Good God. But that was before I grew an unhealthy emotional attachment to it. Somebody help me. Comedy has been scooted up 2 placements and is now at number 3, because every time I listen to the song, I find something new and creative in it. Some new detail in the video or a new lyric that means something differently than what I originally thought it meant. But what's crazier is that number 2 is Welcome to the Internet. It has been dethroned. It's a sinister symphony of the internet, glued together by really clever lyrics and insanely simple instruments and wonderful storytelling. But it just couldn't compare to Goodbye. Just like Hell of a Ride, Goodbye is the culmination of the entire special, so no wonder he has all of the practice and all of the themes and all of the everything of the songs he made before it. I think it's just genius. It is repetitive enough to be not too repetitive, and then when it's about to be too repetitive, it goes into a new thing, and it ends. Bro, the ending of it. Alright, it's time for the scrolling part. Everyone loves the scrolling part, don't they? Inside is a pink because I ran out of colors. The inside outtakes are green because of the future. The video is green. Make Happy is yellow because what took blue. And Words is stuck with gray. I mean, like, it's fitting. Like, gray is literally the color of Words, but looking at all of the colors, it just feels like I just forgot about the show until the last second. Okay, so my original ranking was bad. A ranking of that nature does not deserve to exist as the antithesis to Bo Burnham's big message in Inside, or one of the many. So why don't we start, since I've already covered most of Inside, with the one from Make Happy everyone probably wants me to talk about, I Can't Handle This, sitting right above Repeat Stuff Live at number 27. And I know, big emotional moment to geniusly retrospective show and song and funny bits and cool lighting and explosive big, but when listening to the song, there's two things I think about. The first is that I don't relate. I mean, obviously this is a personal thing for him, but like, I don't relate to We Think We Know You either, and yet that's a big, deep cut. But the other thing is that watching Inside and listening to Goodbye or All Eyes on Me, those are the I Can't Handle This of that show. And I think if that Bo went back and watched I Can't Handle This, he would cringe. Another funny thing I noticed is that both Repeat Stuff songs are a lot lower this time, with the studio version actually ranked higher, which is weird because last time they were not that. The live version was like number 15, the studio version was like 19 or something. I don't remember. I feel like the live version, while creative and fun and has that moment with the mic that I'll never be able to get out of my nightmares, it's good, it's just sloppy, it's weird. Don't Wanna Know didn't quite catch the same train that Look Who's Inside Again got to. It's so nicely made and genius and fun and cool that it can be repeated over and over, and it keeps building on that, and it's awesome. And yet it doesn't. It does this like 5 times and then stops, and it's over, and that's it. Look Who's Inside Again has an ending, has this progression, has this story, but Don't Wanna Know doesn't get to finish that, and I hate it because it makes sense. I get why I did it, but oh my god, the top 15. If you just finished the song. The song Nerds is a lot higher now. It's number 17. I'm at a point where I can acknowledge that his use of words could have been different, but that it also really doesn't matter because this is the story he's telling. Who cares? He ain't insulting you. 16 is 30, which is a sentence that did not make sense to any of you. Lastly, and this is just a general thing that I've noticed, Make Happy's music has gone down a lot. And what I think's going on here is that Make Happy is a better special overall. But when you remove the context of the show and the visuals and the progression, you just have fine music. But what is a little different in that it just feels like a series of bits, so the overall product isn't as good, while the songs individually are so much stronger. And as the final few songs fly by, I think it's about time we say goodbye to this discography and look at one of the biggest messes of amazing music and horrible music I've ever had to listen to. And what am I talking about? It's the Ori series by Moon Studios. God, I'm being such a petty asshole. I just want to clarify, I'm not actually mad about the discography thing, okay? I just thought it's kind of annoying how there isn't one thing that these games fail at. Like, obviously, we're about to listen to some of the most beautiful music all day, but when it comes to animation, gameplay, story, characters, visuals, the game just... Both of the games are always perfect, and it's annoying. Ori and the Blind Forest was one of the coolest and most unique gaming experiences I ever had, and I played it literal days after the sequel came out without even knowing. And because of this, I got to obsess over both games very quickly. Because they have such unique locations, enemies, characters, all of these things have unique themes, and the composers had a really fun time just messing with these themes and seeing what themes play off of each other and blending them into new styles, and as a result, you have some awesome stuff. Now the thing is, there's been no new content for these two games since my original ranking. There's not a new game, nor a new album, or just like re-released anything, but we're still ranking new music I didn't rank last time because I forgot to include the definitive edition songs. But don't worry, we won't be spending much time on this one. Even though there's new songs, starting at the bottom of the list, it doesn't take very long to find some of the new ones. So starting in dead last at number 97, I'm aware of how much more 97 is than 65 from the Burnham ranking, just ignore it. We've got Trouble Within, this 43-second kind of action-packed song. I just want you to imagine a really boring song not even being used in a boring way. So it doesn't even fit because this boring song that doesn't get you hyped, doesn't get you energetic, doesn't even get you feeling anything, is being played during an actual fight and action scene that is kind of important. At number 96, we've got Approaching the End, which was actually number 65 in my original ranking. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just mainly what the song is made for. This is our final march to the ending level of the game, and it's like slow and meaningless and doesn't do anything fun. Number 95 is Silent Woodlands because it's quiet and dull. I will not elaborate. But then, like I said, already at number 94, we've got a definitive edition song. And this one is called Through the Darkness. And I have absolutely no idea where it plays in the game. But you know what? I'm okay without knowing where it is. Because I don't want to listen to it. It's boring. It's stupid. And then at 80, you got Swallow's Nest. This song is really simple and inoffensive in its entirety, but the thing I don't like about it is that Ori's theme is just kind of shoved in there for no reason. It would make so much more sense to play with Naru's theme for this. But now we're gonna jump all the way up to number 57 to get to our next new song, The Mist's Cleared. This song is really cool and unique, but the thing I hate about it is that it just replaces the theme of this area for no reason. But now we get to jump all the way up to number 27 for the song that actually is the reason I'm including the definitive soundtrack in the beginning, Hiding from Kuro. I remember playing through the first game after I uploaded my original ranking, and playing this section where you have to hide from Kuro, and hearing the really creepy music and being like, it's not in the video, is it? Gareth Coker is known for making grand and beautiful pieces, so hearing him pull off something so nightmare-inducing makes me want to jump in excitement. Or maybe in fear. There's the definitive edition song at number 18, Dash Through Their Homes, which is a song I've unironically listened to in the car multiple times. But then, lastly, at number 17, we've got the first game's main theme, because holy hell is it so beautiful and recognizable is the word I was looking for. And you know what? Number 17 is really close to the top 10, so why don't we just talk about that? Because things get weird at the top 10. Number 11 and 12 are the exact same songs, not in the top 10, but it just kind of shows how strange it gets up here. Number 10 is a classic. Restoring the Light, Facing the Dark turns this horrendously tedious chase from Ori 1 into a really fun adventure, and you get to listen to the song over and over and over and over again because you keep dying because it's such a bad chase. But it's okay, because you like the music. Number 9 is Luma Pools. It was number 8 last time. It's calming, it's cool, I like it. Number 8, Quolok's Malaise is easily the most intense thing to come out of Ori 2. And guess what? It happens in the Luma Pools. This area just has some of the best music in the game. Number 7 is The Waters Cleansed, which surprised me a lot. This is like just some of the best and prettiest environmental music I've ever heard. Definitely using it for like a walk or a run in the future. Actually, no, if I'm doing a run, I'm listening to Quolok's Malaise. I need something to run from. Number 6 is what number 9 used to be, which is funny because you're all fucking children. Up the Spirit Cavern Walls is such a classic, and it's really calming and fitting, and it makes for this cool environment. Like, I feel like I could put this in any environment in a lot of video games, and it would just work. I have unironically used this as a standard to compare to other video games' environmental music. It's that well made. But now things get weird. Why do things get weird here? Number 5? Nothing weird about that. Well, there's something weird about that. Number 5 is the same song it used to be before, Fleeing Kuro. But so is number 4. And number 3. And number 2. And number 1. The entire top 5 is the same it used to be. Because they're just that good. But let's ignore that awesomeness so we can go back to some garbage and talk about the entire list, because it's gonna fly by. You know the drill. Ori 1, blue. Ori 2, purple. When it comes to this part of the ranking, I usually don't have to say a lot, you know, where the text is flying by. There's usually only 60 or 70 songs, you know, that flies by pretty quick, and you can just pause the video whenever you see something you're interested in. So, you know, I don't usually have to say, there's 97 songs. And that's not even the most. Skylanders has 139. First, let's talk about the biggest shock of the entire ranking. You remember One More Day, how it changed 37 placements, and that was like huge? Well, A Yearning for the Sky at number 39 and Willow's End at number 42 both went up 36 placements. So yeah, One More Day is still the song that has risen the most ranks in this ranking, but what about a song that has fallen from glory? All the way down to number 54 is A Snowy Skirmish, because it's fun but completely useless and a little slow. But this song is unique because it used to be number 17. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why I'm so interested in the data of like songs moving in the ranking. It's just fun to see how much they change over time, how much my opinions have changed over time. And I'm not done. The song Burrowing was last in my original ranking. It was 91 out of 91 songs. But now it's at 56, which is crazy. I thought it was one of the better themes from the area it's in. It's got this cool, like, ancient kind of Wild West feel to it that also has a bunch of unique instruments. Like, it's cool. Okay, next is this weird thing I found, Bars Reach versus Bars Peak. Bars Reach is this really intricate and fun winter wonderland-esque thing with a bunch of really fitting instruments that kind of reminds me of the Gumon, Layer of the Gumon. But Bars Peak is a useless and short song with the similar style that I literally don't know where it plays in. Like, where is this song from? More so in my last ranking, but still applicable to this ranking, is the fact that the highest ranked songs were usually the fight/escape themes from these games. These composers put their all into everything, but they put their all into these huge moments, like Restoring the Light Facing the Dark, or Fleeing Kuro, or Shriekin' Ori. Shriekin' Ori was the second highest ranked song in the entire soundtrack. Something that epic and intense and still catchy and fun is just awesome. Sure, sometimes they'd fall apart, but I mean, stuff like Escaping the Ruins, More of the Spider, and Escaping a Foul Presence, they consistently ranked very high, both rankings. But when we ignore fights and escapes and go to environments, it's Lumapool every time. Like, this area just has the best music. Every single Lumapool's theme got in the top 30 in this ranking. That's cool. Oh my god, wait, there's this one fighting theme called Hornbug. I'm pretty sure it already passed on the ranking. We're probably pretty far past that, but it's the small, like, fight that'll take you probably 5 minutes to beat. The song is 1.5 minutes or something like that. Oh my god, does it go hard? That song is so good. It's like Snowy Skirmish. It's useless and short, but like awesome, and still it feels like it has a purpose, even though there is no purpose there whatsoever. I need to like stop being me. And I guess to end things off, I'll give you that little Quoloque rant I promised you. This is what I love about Skylanders music. It's really simple themes used in so epic and clever ways. If the song had Quoloque's name in it, it got pity points. I don't even care if the song was bad, it had Quoloque in it. Alright, future me, I hope that was enough to get this whole charade done with. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now let's all wave bye-bye to the Ori track. Bye-bye. Just kidding, no one watched this part. You think I don't realize? Every Ori video I've ever uploaded has like 5 views. Do you understand what that's like? You all ate up that offline TV video and you won't even give this a chance? No one who watches this channel gives 2 shits about this glowing leaf boy. I swear, if I go to YouTube Studios and it tells me that even so much as one of you skipped over this part, finally, we've gotten to something that is considered normal to listen to every day. Hamilton was the most last-minute ranking I've done, and even while watching the video, it shows. I've never really listened to more than like 4 of these songs consistently, and a lot of them just aren't really my style. Plus, I have a lot of big issues with its writing, themes, creator, and yet still freaking love a lot of it. This show's got some of the most intricate lyrics, insane choreography, and awesome beats that I've ever heard in a musical. And I've only listened to 1 musical. I only became a theater kid a few months ago, alright? Give me a break. Due to the fact that this is such a small ranking that didn't even change, and we've only got 46 songs here, I figured I might as well switch things up. We're gonna start by just letting the whole thing go by and then talking about the top 10 at the end, and then being done with it. So, sounds good? No? Remind me again, who has rights here?
kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Can't twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak.
Top 10 now. And to start us off is the show off of Act 1, Guns and Ships. Catchy, epic, insane. I love this guy. Also, Washington's part was better than I remember. Your Obedient Servant is such a bop, and number 9. Its visuals are awesome, its lyrics are awesome, its characters are awesome, it's this cool little pre-finale, you know? I don't understand why they say Your Obedient Servant. I don't know, is this a saying? Number 8 is Helpless, for the simple fact that comparing it to Satisfied, which is the song everyone overhypes, I just love it. Satisfied is cool, it's this really cool moment, but I feel like I've heard it before, you know? Number 7 is It's Quiet Uptown, because again, it was like the only emotional moment that really got me. Well, emotional moment that wasn't like hype or energy. It's good, it's really well executed, it makes me feel for Hamilton. It's the only thing that could make me like him after all of the horrible things he had done in this act. Number 6 is What Did I Miss, but it's tied with number 5, Washington on Your Side, pretty much. These songs are really stylish and unique. They all have characters playing off each other, Hamilton and Thomas and What Did I Miss, and then Burr, Madison, Thomas, all in Washington on Your Side. It's fun. However, is Wait For It. This song used to be number 13. I don't know what I was smoking, but it was bad. I don't smoke, by the way, but it's an insanely complex song, and all of the best songs are just like deep dives into Burr's perspective and whatnot. But now is the real challenge. One of the most difficult things in this entire ranking. My previous first place, One Last Time, versus my new contender for first place, The Room Where It Happens. One of them is kind of an underdog story. One Last Time is really not a song anyone talks about, but no one really talks bad about either. It's always in the middle somewhere. It's got one of the best endings to any of these songs. But The Room Where It Happens is special in that it's just awesome throughout. It's got slow moments, sure, but like, what? So after like probably what was 20 minutes of just listening to these songs back to back, I decided that The Room Where It Happens is a little better. One Last Time is kind of carried by its ending, but that's not even why, because its opening is good too, and it's got that smooth part where they are doing that thing. Did they really have to include that entire speech in the song? Anyway, Room Where It Happens, awesome choreography. In Disney Plus, it has amazing cinematography too, everything about it, awesome. You know that there's a gnat. You know it's good. It's number 1. It's like, it feels kind of weird putting the song that everyone loves at number 1. I know One Last Time was this cool underdog story, but listen, sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're not the worst person in the room. Sometimes you're not the worst person. So, yeah, this section's over. That was all of Hamilton. Pretty neat, huh? I'm trying to stall because Subnautica's up next, and that's 104 songs that I do not want to rank. I wonder how many people actually stayed to watch this part. Like, how many of you actually, like, you all skipped to the Skylanders part. I know how your hive mind works. That's all you're watching. If you're watching this, comment pickle baby. Wait, no. Do Webby Waboo. All right, we've had our fun here, so let's stop having fun. It's not that Subnautica's soundtrack is bad, okay? I mean, there's heaps of trash in here. But it's just that 104 songs. I can't. Do you know how long Ori took me to record? This ranking is only 104 songs because I removed some. In my original ranking, I allowed for songs that weren't actually in the game and were just used for like trailer and promotion to be in the ranking. But I'm not doing that this time. I removed like 5 songs because of that. As for the songs I did include, this ended up being the absolute strangest ranking I have ever done. You want to see what I mean? Number 104. It is the same song that was in 104 last time. Buoyancy. But see, last time 104 wasn't last. 109 was last. But the song that was in 104th is now in last, which is 104 now. Buoyancy is just a useless and nothing song that just so happens to have one of the most irritating sound effects playing throughout it. And now that we got a Subnautica song out of the way, we got a Below Zero song coming up. Leaves of Quartz. It's also boring as hell. I would bet that Ben didn't use more than like 3 or 4 instruments in the song. That can be a good thing, but it wasn't. Number 102 is The Void. The Void was the 3rd worst song last time as well. I really hate that The Void has music in Below Zero. It's so stupid. The music and all of the ambiance fading out and just giving you dead silence as the Seamoth slowed down to a halt and you heard entering ecological dead zone, and then a ghost and 3 ghosts just start chasing you down. That was so cool. Why is there music now? And why is it a chilicerate? Number 101 is Magnetite, because it's bad. Do you need an explanation? Number 100 is Amid the Kelp, because it is still so boring and bland for what is, by all means, a really uniquely spooky environment. And lastly, you've got Observation Zen at number 99. Why am I randomly including 99 when I could have just stopped at 100 and it would have made a bunch of sense? Well, that's because Move Over One More Day. Observation Zen is boring. It has like fun stuff in it, but it's boring, it's dumb, it's useless. Do you want to know where it was ranked before? Me too, I forgot. I gotta check my script. This song that is now at number 99 was previously, kiddos, number 35. This song got shoved down 64 placements. Number 10 and number 9 are both songs that were in the top 10 before, but have just been nudged down a little. You've got Kelp Caves at number 10 and Mirage Machine at number 9. Kelp Caves is just unique and catchy and weirdly fitting, and Mirage Machine is just so damn calming and fun and creative. Number 8 is this really random song from the original game called Sun and Moon. I don't ever remember liking the song or listening to it. It used to be 31, so it wasn't bad, but like, where did this come from? Number 7 is a continuous thrum from Subnautica Below Zero. This is the song that made me realize that pretty much every single song name in this soundtrack is just a random collection of words from specific quotes. And this one's really good. It's really unique. It has a bunch of fun stuff. I figured it was, you know, like number, 20 last time? It was number 51. Last time. Like, goddamn, it's got this unique blend of like tribal and ancient, but also like futuristic. Like it pulls off this fun thing that not a lot of songs pull off very well. Number 6 is part organic, part digital. This one used to be number 8, I'm not explaining myself. And if you've been keeping track, you would know that that's 4 Below Zero songs in the top 10 and only 1 OG song in the top 10, which is weird. But that streak is instantly killed by Abandoned Ship. Obviously, the song's getting top 5. Bro, everyone loves it. If you can create something this catchy that manages to work as credits music, and also the music that plays as an alarm when your giant war machine of a boat is being blown up by a dragon, then that's pretty cool. Number 4 is We Exist as Data, because it starts off as another like just a boring ambiance song, but then it develops into something genuinely mind-blowing and really cool. It's a subversion of expectations, which is nice because a lot of Subnautica songs just repeat the same thing over and over again, banking on the fact that they just had a cool beat and just went with it. Number 3 is Crash Site from the original game. You remember that one with the really angelic singing that no one could remember the name of? That's this one. It's pretty and bone-chilling. Those are like 2 things that should not work well together, but work so well together. I'm using my hands a lot to emphasize my point. Number 2 is Unknown Flora. That's right, Unknown Flora used to be number 2 as well, and the only song in its way was 1,000 Strings. So you would think, with that song no longer in the top 10, Unknown Flora would just go up to number 1 because it's awesome. But the thing is, there was this other song that was also in the top 10 last time that I decided is now the best thing ever, and that is Cathedral from Below Zero. Behind the genuinely haunting opening, you've got some of the most unique and pretty music I've ever heard from a video game. Like, there's something about seeing a huge cheliceraate, and then hearing that creepy opening, turning around and seeing that giant, beautiful environment, and then that really cool part kicks in. I used this music for my Why Subnautica Rules video. But enough with Cathedral's glory. I think it's about time you saw what I thought of every single song individually. I'm gonna need a lot to talk about while all of that goes by, so forgive me if it's not all entertaining or fun. Or even about Subnautica. The original game is going to be like a bluish teal, while the second one is a very violet purple. So let's go on a quick rant about the doubled up songs I talked about earlier. Those songs where it starts off with this specific energy and tone and then just switches that like 2/3 of the way in for no reason. I mentioned that Dresden pulled it off well, and yeah, it's still like the only one. For the case of story purposes or scene purposes where you're going from like a calm moment to a very big moment, I can obviously excuse this. And that's the case for the very last song on the soundtrack, In Search of Familiar Harmonies. But that's not the case for this one song, 10,000 Souls. It just changes out of nowhere. And even though both halves are really good, every time that switch happens, for the next minute, I'm just thinking, why did the switch happen? You know what's an interesting song? Cryptosuchus. Crypto scam. There was no point to that, I just don't know how to pronounce it. The song is pretty bland with half spooky moments and some fun percussion. The only reason it's number 92 is because I made a really funny review that I was proud of, and I just kind of stuck with whatever I said. Okay, so I don't know how fast this is actually scrolling. I'm gonna hope it's either going quick enough or that I've been talking slow enough so that we are somewhere around this song from Subnautica called Coral Reef. It used to be number 66, now it's number 59. That would be impressive, but it's not because it's Subnautica and there's like 100 songs. Who cares? See, this song doesn't actually have anything special in it, but I needlessly analyzed the symbolism and themes and stuff that didn't even have these messages to begin with for fun. So now it does. The song opens with this simple fading in of a calming theme that sounds pretty familiar, but then it has these bits that just kind of feel corrupted and broken. But what is that theme at the beginning that sounds so familiar in the song? Well, it's Salutations, which if you don't know is the title screen song that plays. And when you're on the title screen, what do you see? A blank ocean with nothing going wrong. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, fish can also jump out of the water from time to time, so it's peaceful, it's fine, it's nice. But when you're in the safe shallows after crashing and now in the story, what do you see? You see a giant ship, a bunch of wreckage, pieces of equipment that are definitely radiating or like losing oil or electricity into the ocean. And that's why the song is called Coral Reef and not Safe Shallows. It's not the Safe Shallows, at least while Altera is involved. But that's the thing that makes Simon Chilinsky's music so weird. Chilinsky's music is basically always ambiance. He either focuses heavily on making a fitting piece of music. It hits a specific emotion. It's either creepy or it's like fascinating or it's pretty. It doesn't flow like music. Or he goes all in with music and makes Abandoned Ship or Unknown Flora or something like that. Now this works in making music that feels perfect when playing the game. But on their own, this is like that make happy problem we talked about earlier. When listening to the music individually and not with the context of the game, a lot of them suffer really hard. Compare that with Ben Prunty's music. His is just good. Like, obviously he doesn't have that flair that Chilinsky has, and therefore some of his songs definitely suffer, but when it comes to blending really good music and really good ambiance, he's just better at it. Hell, half the time Ben didn't even have to just like copy off of Chilinsky's homework. He made his entirely own new theme and aesthetic for this game and just went with it. And it worked. It worked better than half of the stuff in Subnautica 1. However, this also hinders Below Zero because there are so many songs for such a kind of small map that you might be transitioning between like 3 biomes and a song will come in, then it will fade out right before the beat drop, and then it'll fade in and fade out, and because it's not good ambiance then it can do that easily, it sounds really weird that music just comes in and out. Alright friends, that was my new goodly made ranking of Subnautica's music. and it's good. I'm being completely honest when I say that Unknown Flora and Cathedral are some of my favorite pieces of music now. They're no Infinite Amethyst or Goodbye, but they're like awesome. It has been quite the gruesome climb to get to this point and re-rank all of these. You probably noticed my energy greatly decrease as this video goes on, and my walking become more and more sporadic. But we've only got one left. One more soundtrack to rank, and then I'm probably done with this format forever. Like, I don't have any other thing to rank. I do have another ranking video coming up, but it's not gonna be music. But since we're finishing ranking music forever, and like, this isn't like emotional, but you know, it's like, oh no. But since this will be the final soundtrack I ever rank, I figured we might as well bring it full circle. The Skylanders soundtrack was composed by Lorne Balfe and some other dude. A collection of 5 games that collectively Six games? Are you okay? Have you taken your meds? Every Skylanders game has an official, roughly 15-song long soundtrack published on YouTube and Spotify. And being a YouTube boy that doesn't want to venture further than the first page of YouTube, I decided that these official soundtracks would be the thing that would guide my original ranking. However, I got something wrong. And no, I'm not talking about my misspelling of giants you all love to comment about. I'm not the auto gyro adventure thing either. There's a song called Lost City of Arcus that was accidentally named Auto Gyro Adventure in the soundtrack, but then everyone blamed me for it, but it was Lawrence. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about, good God, no, I'm not talking about the fact that I ranked Willikin Village theme at 54. Leave me alone. What I'm talking about is that I only ranked 75 songs in that ranking. You may have noticed that there's a couple more today. However, of course, I've already explained that I naively only ranked the official soundtrack, and so everyone lost their mind when, like, Quicksilver Vault or whatever wasn't there. Going back and including all of the songs I missed, we've got 139. But with such a behemoth to face, we of course need to set some ground rules. Each level in Skylanders has multiple themes. So to be fair, I listened to 2 themes from every level that had more than one theme, so that I could, you know, really see what the whole thing's about. So no, I'm not listening to 139 songs for Skylanders. I'm listening to 160. Let's get this over with. Main level themes, main game themes, main hub themes, main character themes, main boss themes. Those will all be accounted for in this video. Elemental stuff, random bonus side quests, any little recreation of a character's theme, all of that, I don't care, I'm not gonna include it in this video, just sue me. And one more note, in the rest of this video, which I know you didn't watch, you will have noticed that every song that was in a previous ranking got a little thing next to it that says this is what its original placement was and this is what its new thing is. That's not happening this time. It's been a year and a half, and plus, it's double the number of songs. I'm not gonna say what they got last time. It doesn't matter. I know you don't care. You're just here to see what the worst is, what the best is, and if you're a hardcore fan, where your favorite is. But the way we're doing this is going to be a little different. Don't look at that. To really milk this section, I'm going to be going game by game and just covering the highlights, so then by the time every game will be in one compact, fully worked out ranking, we can just go through that in one swing. So where do we start? Spyro's Adventure. Why would I not start with Spyro's Adventure, huh? Tell me, what do you want me to start with? You want me to start with Swap Force? I can start with Swap Force. I think when it comes to the new music that wasn't in my original ranking, Spyro's Adventure may genuinely be the best at that. The songs that aren't in the official soundtrack are meant to just loop over and over and over and over and not go anywhere because they are meant to just be repetitive filler stuff for small fights and whatnot. So the fact that these have effort and like really cool stuff in them is awesome. Little spoiler here, this is the only game that got a newly ranked song in the top 10, so pretty cool. I had to snap twice because Spyro's Adventure came out of the gate swinging, giving us a masterfully crafted soundtrack that Giants and Trap Team would just rip off. I mean, it was the same composer, so not rip off, but the style is there. Because it was such an experimental time, they had a lot of fun reworking these themes and everything, and it created one of my most diverse soundtracks in the franchise. When it comes to Giants and Swap Force, they pretty much stick with the same style the whole time, and when they do divert into something new, it sucks. However, this of course also led to some stinkers. When ranking every Spyro's Adventure song against one another, Mulligan Mine was actually the worst because of just how boring and unfitting it was. The songs Battlefield and Against Chaos were really annoyingly repetitive, even if they do have a fine beat to go along with it. And I know what you're thinking, Against Chaos is actually the final boss fight music, and some people love it, but I just can't. And this is when you get into more basic territory. Leviathan Lagoon, sorry. Treetop Terrace, sorry. And Quicksilver Vault, sorry. These are fine songs. I wouldn't mind listening to them, but you know what I would like to listen to a lot more? Exploring the Ruins, the single best Spyro's Adventure song there is. It's grand, it's epic, it's obviously a little nostalgic, but I feel like that doesn't really matter when it's just good music anyways. Spyro's Adventure was really one of a kind and did a whole lot with really not that much. But then Giants came out of nowhere and perfected it, and that's honestly why it never really diverted that much. But if you're curious, boom, here's my small little condensed ranking of every single Spyro's Adventure song. I limited myself to 5 words for each because, you know, then the official ranking will come at the end and they have like 3 sentences. If you just want to see that, you can skip to the final ranking, you'll know where it is. So yeah, pause if you want to read that. Skylanders Giants. The very first level of Skylanders Giants sees our Portal Master and Skylander facing off against Conkertron, this giant robot that enslaved the entirety of the world. And we just basically kill him. But the music for the level where we overthrow a dictatorship that enslaved the entirety of Skylands is easily one of the most boring things I've listened to all day. Anywho, once Lauren got to Giants, he really had a feel for what worked and what didn't with that original Spyro's Adventure feel to his music, so let's be honest, most of this music is just really good. Yeah, you've got some disasters, but it's mostly fine. Hell, some of the really low-ranking songs weren't even there because they were bad. Songs like Sky Stones and Machine Ghost Death weren't bad listens, they were just short and simple, and you know, they couldn't compare to like the main theme or Aerial Attack or something. The soundtrack even has Drill X's rap. Of course, I did end up having to dock points from the robot rap because when would I ever find myself listening to that song? But you know what really surprised me? Glacier Goalie, this like out of nowhere really random song for a really random level, is like awesome. It's like really weird and calming and cool. And then you get to the big ones, Bring Order to Chaos, Lost City of Arcus, Aerial Attack, Cutthroat Carnival. Just the name of the song lets you know what you're in for. It combines the cutthroat nature of Skylanders and the silly, like that accordion style music of Carnivals. I've gone off script like 5 times in this one. Here's the final ranking. Pause it if you want to see it. Ooh, look at all those words. That's actually very few words. Swap Force in general was a very new game. New jumping button, new characters, new animation, new attacks, new story, new everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, the main idea of taking the Skylanders aesthetic and making it really futuristic and synthy is kind of cool, and it makes sense for the game. I just don't like it that much. I'll give you another little spoiler alert here, even though I know you're not gonna skip it. Not a single Swap Force song made it into the top 10 of every song combined. So, for every second Dangerous Coils presented me that familiar motif that I absolutely love, it gave me some surprisingly boring filler. And for every Braving Mount Cloudbreak, my new favorite Swap Force song, there was a Baron Shellshock theme. It's boring, it's bad, it's don't... The problem with it is that there's this other song, Farewell Baron, that used to be my favorite Swap Force song, that is really good, it has some fun moments, but it also has boring moments. This song uses parts of that song, but which parts of Farewell Baron do you think that Baron von Shellshock uses? Of course this theme uses the boring parts of that song. What? And then it throws random ass instruments over it. This is stupid. What? Why am I doing this to myself? Listen, all you need to know is to listen to Winter Keep, Ironjaw Gulch, and A New Chiefess. They are very good. So here's the full list. It's right there. Pause if you need it. Okay. Trap Team. The awkward middle child of my original ranking. Listen, about the money. After the nightmare that was Swap Force soundtrack, Lorne Balfe decided to circle back around to what made the original tracks good. But of course, he spent a year separated from this aesthetic to work on Swap Force, so he couldn't perfect it. In fact, he did very bad at it. Future of Skylands is horrible. My deep hatred for the incredibly boring nature of the song cannot be easily expressed, so I'm not gonna try. It's just easily the most uninspired and unengaging thing I've listened to all day. But up next is Time Town, which is horrible because there's this song in Giants called Slippery Tunnel that has this cool theme. This song just uses that theme but makes it quiet and puts other instruments in, and it's bad and doesn't sound good and doesn't fit. Time Town? You're not gonna do something fun for a level called Time Town? You might recall Chef Zeppelin and Soda Springs being very low in my original ranking, but now I like them. Chef Zeppelin is still not great, but Soda Springs it's fun, it's cute, it's simple. Plus, while Chef Zeppelin is bad, Chef Pepperjack gets some of the most fun themes in like fights and stuff when it comes to this game. Monster Marsh is incredibly insulting because it has like one of the coolest moments in any song, but everything else about it outside of that really awesome 20 seconds is just incredibly mid, as the kids say. Wolfgang, Golden Queen, Dreamcatcher, and Chef Pepperjack have some of the coolest boss fight music in the franchise. Then you've got Willikin Workshop, which just makes the Willikin Village theme better. But then you've got the classics, Know-It-All Island because it's creative and relaxing, and Chompy Mountain because god damn! List. Alright, let's go to the next game. Superchargers! Controversially and surprisingly, one of my favorite games and soundtracks from the entire franchise. The music is leaps and bounds better than I was expecting, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. Superchargers goes all in with this new twist on what Giants and Spyro's Adventure set up. It's jazzy, but it's also heroic and more grand, but also more contained. It's very weird and very cool. You would think that with something that cool, something that unique, something that energetic, when given an energetic and bombastic level, what Lorne Balfe would do is create a really cool, bombastic, and energetic soundtrack. Enter Ridepocalypse. Ridepocalypse is run by a maniac that captured Glumshakes after he almost died and sacrificed himself for the entire academy. It is a place where heroes and villains alike can compete in a massive derby where you're just allowed to murder each other in cars, compete for a prize. And I swear the BPM is like 25. I don't understand what it is about Lorne seeing such an obvious opportunity to make some really creative music and just saying, nah. I unfortunately removed the Captain Cluck's King Size Chicken jingle because it didn't really count, but I did include the Captain Cluck HQ theme, and it's not good. It has fun sound effects, but it's not good. Oh my god, the Darkness finale fight music. Oh my god, guys, it was so good. I'm lying. It was boring. It was bland. This is the final fight of the entire franchise, realistically, because there's only 5 games, as we know. Okay, you're just gonna have to put up with me here, but the microphone that you've been seeing me wave around and talk into for the past 40 minutes just kind of stopped working for about 10. So you're gonna have to deal with a few clips of my horrible phone microphone. Just give me a break. Alright, this is such an annoyingly massive video. I don't know why the Skylanders section of all of them has been so scuffed. Oh yeah, do you remember the Spellpunk library level? That basically consists of a bunch of books that are their own levels? Well, because those books are so different in themes and aesthetic, I included each book as its own song in this ranking. Chaos's Final Fight music is easily the best in this game out of them all. And guys, Water Drop Way, this random song that I forgot was even in the official soundtrack, is actually like geniusly relaxing and cool. But if you think this calmingly catching tune is the best thing that Superchargers has to offer, you're a moron. Rift into Overdrive is probably one of the most popular pieces of music from the franchise that isn't the main themes of each game, because it's just awesome. And here's the list. We can finally move on to the final ranking. It's gonna be a lot more colorful than these have been, I'll tell you that. So what abomination of a song is dead last on my final ranking of a soundtrack? Future of Skylands. Good God, that song was so good. You remember when I said it was the worst thing I've heard all day. It still is the worst song I've heard all day. And it's instantly followed by Mulligan Mine. I didn't need to say that. It's going already. Can't you see it? I can't see it. It's green. Then we've got Conquertron and Time Town, which actually means that Trap Team got 2 songs up here before Superchargers even got 1. And speaking of Trap Team, I think the Gulpers theme is pretty weird and like simple. But I have to give it points because, like, it's incredibly fitting for that horrible character. The Skystones theme is unironically placed above Against Chaos, which is the final boss fight music of the first game. And Machine Ghost's death music is unironically placed just below Darkwater Cove, which is apparently a fan favorite. Supercharged with Love is at 102. I'm sorry, the song just isn't good this time. I don't know. Last time I recall being in the top like 40, maybe even 30, but this time, man, did it just feel like corporate schlog. Also, damn, did we pass Robot Chaos's theme during that rant? I know I already said this, but Chaos's music was just like not good in most of these games. Superchargers were the only one that really got it right. Every game just heavily relied on mindless dubstep, which proved to not be the best choice. Like, sure, Skylanders 1, even Skylanders 2, we're all kids, it makes sense, but then you switch up the style in Swap Force, but you keep the same thing. Swap Force's Chaos theme was one of the worst. Spyro's Adventure was below that one sucked. But a fun comparison to this is actually the Dreamcatcher theme from Trap Team, or, if you want something you might know a little better, Chompy Mage's theme in Giants, or even Chaos's Mom. Motherly Mayhem was in dead last in my original ranking, and that's because it didn't really fit as a final fight sort of theme. And I get it, I share that sentiment now, but I'm surprised I never acknowledged how creative and menacing the theme still is. Compare this to Chompy Mage's boss fight, where it's definitely not as menacing or evil, but it's cool, it's catchy and it's fun. The Drill X rap is unironically at number 72, Fight Me. Oh, and that rock ballad from Superchargers is unironically 68, I Will Fight You. It's a kid's game. Sometimes you need the dumb fun. And other times you just need Cloud Kingdom. This song, along with Junkyard Isles, Evil Dreams, and the Light Squadron book from Superchargers, they're all incredibly simple, and yet really unique and fun, and that's something I talked about earlier. Lorne is incredibly good at making pretty easy themes to make, and then complicating them into some really cool and contrasting things. I mean, Chaos's most badass theme is ba 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 ba. He manages to make something really simple, something incredibly unique. This is pretty evident in the Swap Force main theme, and in fact it's actually pretty evident in every main theme. I mean, Trap Team's was the lowest out of all of these at number 45, but that's still very high. Out of 139, you should be glad to be there. Swap Force is at number 40, Giants is at number 23, Superchargers is at number 14, and Spyro's Adventure is coming up. I just think this series is at its best when it takes something really simple and makes it incredibly complex. Just like the games. I'm just kidding. Did you really think that a blue alien with a rough, high-pitched voice throwing his deadly potions at long-eyed green aliens yelling, "Don't try this at home, kids," was complex? Alright, and while the list is wrapping up, I guess I can talk about the Dreamcatcher again. Easily the character with the best music in the games. Her main theme is creepy and catchy, and her boss music is a really cool, action-packed version of that creepy theme. Vault of the Ancients from Superchargers was absolutely robbed of its own piece on the official soundtrack because it absolutely belongs there. And finally, Archean Armory. My original video received a comment of someone telling me that clearly I didn't listen to the entire song because it's not actually repetitive and it's one of the best in the franchise. After the abomination that was Excuse, where someone said the same thing and I listened to it and I hated it more, I decided, you know what? I'll listen to it again and watch it be garbage. And I listened to it, and they were right. Oh, who said that? I will admit that it does start off very boring, and I was right about that. But it developed, like, it becomes a really cool version of this boring theme, and that's what I've been talking about. It's this boring, simple theme taken and made really cool. And now that we're done with that, it's the top 10. Out of 139, this is really something to be proud of if you're up here. So yeah, let's go through the top 10. At number 12 is Braving Mount Cloudbreak. That's not in the top 10, I just wanted to mention again that Swap Force didn't even make the top 10. I mean, 12 out of 139 is really good, but not as good as 11 out of 139, which is Aerial Attack. This song used to be number 1, and while I agree that it really does encapsulate Giants aesthetic as a whole, it really doesn't do good at encapsulating Skylanders as a whole, which some later songs on here actually do. And so now that we're actually in the top 10, this is why I didn't talk about Spyro's Adventure's main theme earlier, because this is where it is. It is pure creativity that both Hans Zimmer and Lorne Balfe worked on. No shit, it's in the top 10. Number 9 is, of course, Bringing Order to Chaos, because like I said, no way is that simple theme this badass. It has to be the best early 2010s villain theme in gaming. Know It All Island gets a crisp 8th because it's good. God damn. I've been using it in videos since before I even did my original ranking of this game, so, you know, that's how you know. Hey, remember when that microphone I've been swinging around actually worked? Welp, it does now. And it only took, like, the entire Skylanders section for it to work again. Number 7... I can't believe these words have to come out of my mouth, is Goo Factory. This is what I meant when I said Spyro's Adventure is the only game that got a new song in the top 10. It's a song that loops and doesn't have a clear beginning or end, but it is great. Number 6 is Water Drop Way, even though I keep forgetting that the song exists. Number 5 belongs to The Lost City of Arcus, aka Auto Gyro Adventure, in my original soundtrack ranking. I don't know how you messed that one up, Lorne, but it's good. Number 4 is Cutthroat Carnival for all of the reasons I described earlier. I really have no idea why they never brought this style back. Exploring the Ruins is still number 3 because it is grand, it is epic, and this is the song that I think truly encapsulates every Skylanders track into one. It is mind-blowing. Number 2 is Chompy Mountain, because I genuinely think that when Lorne is like pitching ideas to studios and advertising himself, he needs to start with this song. This is easily his coolest and most intricate and like biggest song ever, and it is cool and it's weird. Oh my, in my original ranking, this is like a weird ass rant. In my original ranking, it was like just thrown at number like 22 for some reason, but then I was going back through songs and I realized that it was awesome, but I didn't want to just mess up the whole list, so I put it at 18 instead of moving it to like number 5 where it clearly would have been at the time. And I'm going on this long rant because there's really not much I have to say about number 1. It is Rift into Overdrive because it's Rift into Overdrive. I genuinely could have put Exploring the Ruins or Chompy Mountain at number 1. They both, I think, are better songs. But this feels right. It is something that I can and have shared with my friends over the years. It is a song that I genuinely think anyone can love without knowing where it's from. And that's stuff that I just genuinely can't do with actual Skylanders anymore. This feels like where the series ended. Except it didn't. Yeah, I didn't want to address this, but there's a massive, ugly elephant in the room. Imaginators exists. There is no official soundtrack of Imaginators. That is why it is not here. I had this idea to go through the unofficial soundtrack and just rank it on its own, but I didn't have the energy, I'm gonna be honest. I probably would have done that if I was just not tired that night. But I really do think that this decision to remove Lorne for no reason and just use stock music just really easily encapsulates how little Activision cared about this game. I've said it over and over and over and over again about how much I don't like Imaginators. But even if you love it, which I know a lot of people do, and I can acknowledge the really cool and unique stuff in that game, if you care about it, they didn't. Anywho, I've got to stop talking about Skylanders on this goddamn channel. I've said that like 3 or 4 times, but I've got to stop. Well, actually, I did have this one idea I could do where I feel like you may have noticed in this video, haven't really been here for that long. That house that my entire channel has taken place in, yeah, I'm not there anymore. But besides my life that has a purpose in it, this doesn't. This has been by far the most lengthy, time-consuming, and soul-crushing project I've ever worked on. If you graciously assume that all 544 songs are only 3 minutes long, then that's still a grand total of 1,632 minutes of music. I've listened to most songs at least twice, gone over the list multiple times to reorganize, and I've been working on this since July. So I can't just walk away empty-handed. That's why, to wrap this up, I gathered some random statistics and just personal opinion stuff that I noticed. The longest I spent working on a single ranking was actually not for Skylanders, it was for the Ori series. I started working that on September 9th and finished on October 14th. Yikes. The longest song I listened to was The End by C418, and the shortest one was Spider by Burnham. The most average soundtrack to me, and this is not length, this is just like personal opinion stuff, was the Subnautica soundtrack, weirdly. It had some big moments, but it never really deviated from the one style Cholinsky is pretty good at. And surprisingly enough, I think either Minecraft or Trap Team had the biggest fluctuation between hot garbage and absolute bangers. Droopy Likes Your Face and Time Town are pretty bad. But Infinite Amethyst and Chompy Mountain are some of the best songs I listened to today. And you know what, while we're here, Infinite Amethyst is my single favorite song I've listened to in this entire video. It is the best piece of music, period. The Room Where It Happens, Rift into Overdrive, and Abandoned Ship are all songs that are hilariously similar in why they're placed so high. I love me a good hype song. But clearly my favorites were emotional songs. I'm talking The Sacrifice, Goodbye, Infinite Amethyst, Wait For It, Drayton, Naru Embracing the Light, Crash Site, One Last Time. They're all filled with either nostalgic emotion, lyrical emotion, or just a really good presence of emotion. Giants is probably still my favorite Skylanders track, although Trap Team was a big surprise. So honestly, if I think I had to listen to just one of those forever, which is a very strange circumstance, I think I would choose Trap Team just because I get a lot of diversity. But you know what? I think we've got to do something big to end this off, so why don't we rank every single track against each other and just see what is the best of the best. So you know what's not the best? Swap Force. Word to Word to Words is very clever with some fun highlights, but there's a pretty blatant reason why Current Bow is pretty embarrassed with this version of himself. Spyro's Adventure is a real adventure, bringing in some of the best stuff from the Skylanders franchise, but that does not excuse its hot garbage. Subnautica 1 has some surprisingly basic songs while also delivering some of the best stuff I've ever heard. Sorry, there's just a bit too much of the same, and not all of it works. Hamilton's good, but Hamilton's also bad. Make Happy is Bo's best live performance, but of course without the visual bits and stand-up gags, the songs do suffer. Superchargers may have one of my favorite tracks in existence, but that doesn't get rid of the fact that some of its energy is really bad and some of the songs are incredibly unfitting. Ori 2 is gorgeous, but it is also incredibly long. Like there's so many songs, they're all really long. Jesus, Gareth. What is a live show by Burnham? But all of the best songs from it are from the studio. And by the way, I am unironically placing Trap Team's music above that. There's something oddly beautiful about the first Ori game's soundtrack. I don't know what makes it better than the second games, but every time I revisit it, there's just something mind-blowing about it. Skylanders Giants is easily the best Skylanders soundtrack and has some of the weirdly most head-bopping capable music ever, and is really fun, and anyone who disagrees is allowed to have that opinion despite its horrendously wrongness. Below Zero is fucking fantastic. Oh, not the game. Well, the game is better than I thought, but the soundtrack is what really blows me away. Inside! That's right, Bo's most genius work of art ever is in fact the most genius work of art sung in this entire ranking. The key word there is sung, though. The fact that Minecraft can evoke the same emotions in me as Inside without the words spoken, without the existential reflections and the cinematography is insane. So after all of this, did I really waste 2,000 minutes, 34 hours, aka a day and a half, on listening to music I haphazardly ranked from fine to rat shit in year-old videos? Yeah. Listen, I've been spending the better part of a year to try and realign my YouTube content into stuff that I'll actually like a couple months after it's even uploaded. Out of all of the 56 videos I posted since February 21st, 2021, I maybe still like 3 of them. And that sucks. So as a fun little send-off to the days where I made useless scripts about people more successful than me and soundtracks better than anything I could ever make, I decided to take a look back and waste one final stretch of my life on something that I'll probably hate in a week. But this is all besides the point. Check out that giant playlist in the description and support whoever of these you like the most. If all of them, preferably do that. Now it's time for me to sink into another 4-month-long abyss. Bye-bye! No, different thing. Okay.